I picked up some low-sec communications regarding running a Tengu in the Besieged research facilities. We're going to be taking a look at that today, kind of see how it runs, see how versatile it is compared to running them in the Praxis. So let's just go ahead, we'll take a quick look at the fit here. You can see we have good kinetic damage resistance, 78, 79%, which is exactly the type of damage we need to be able to resist. In our highs, we have heavy assault missile launcher 2s. I prefer running Scourge missiles in that. We're fitted up with a cloak, Sisters expanded probe launchers. I do run combat probes in those. I also carry your typical probes. Mid slots, Pith X type, large shield booster. We have a couple of shield boost amplifiers going on here. A Republic Fleet large cap battery, Multispectrum shield Hardener 2, and a 10 meganewton YS8 compact Afterburner. In the lows, it's Ballistic control system 2s all the way across. As far as our cores, we have the augmented graviton reactor, Covert reconfiguration, accelerated ejection bay, as well as the chassis optimization. And for the rigs, medium kinetic shield reinforcer 2 for that kinetic resist profile that we need. We also have a medium ancillary current router 2 and a capacitor control circuit 2. Now we are not cap stable, but we are good for 15 minutes, which is definitely long enough to run these. We're pumping out 506 DPS currently. We have no drone bay, so no drones to worry about. And in our cargo hold, currently I actually have some loot where I've been running these sites. But the main thing you're going to need in here is just going to be your heavy assault missiles. Now I do carry a range of heavy assault missiles to cover all damage types. Scourge, Rage heavy assault missiles are mainly going to be what you're looking for. So we have a besieged site right here in the system we're in. We're going to go ahead and just jump out here. Now, one thing I have found out is if you do not run these sites in a timely manner, you will lose the loot and everything when you finish killing off the last spawned NPC. So we do need to run these quickly. I like to go into them cloaked, and I will tell you why shortly. It has to do with the Legion battleships, because they do web. I've seen another YouTuber putting out there that your speed does not affect the damage that they're doing, that you can't speed tank them, but that is completely inaccurate. You do very good speed tanking even at the slow rate that this ship travels. With the Afterburner on, you take very little damage, but once they have a web on you, you are going to take damage. So I like to jump in here cloaked to kind of see what the spawns are going to be. If there's too many battleships, I am not going to run the site. One seems to be about all you really want to deal with time-wise. Two, possible. Now here we don't have to worry about it too much. You know, we've got 2 commanders and a cruiser. So this is no issue once we get our speed up. So there, as you can see, we are really not taking a whole lot of damage. The majority of what damage we are taking on is the cruiser. He also has the warp disruptor on us, so we're going to go ahead and go out here, get within 16 kilometers of him, and start taking him out. Now it is one downfall to this fit. You do have a short range, but it doesn't really seem to affect too awful much until you start getting webbed and you're taking on that battleship to get that web off of you. You're not going to want to orbit at that point. You're going to want to approach. Hopefully we will see a battleship, Mordu Legion battleship. So there's the cruiser out of the way. Go ahead and orbit this commander. Start taking him out. Now I am using the Mjolnirs. I'm a little short, as you can see, on Scourge Rage Heavy Assault Missiles. I've also heard it said that EM damage is the damage you want to inflict. Also not completely accurate. Really, Scourge is your best weapon choice if you don't want to be changing back and forth. But the Mjolnir is absolutely a viable option. As you can see, we're inflicting on their shields, as far as the commander, about 636 damage points. We would typically see something more along the lines of 800 and some with the Scourge. As you can see, if you don't run it fast enough, you get this. Capsuleer, I am a member of Mordu Legion. You tried to intercept our attack on this installation, and as you can see by its explosion, your efforts have utterly failed. We are honorable fighters, but I suggest you steer clear of the Legion's operations in the future. So I ran that one. The last ship exploded, and along with it, every loot crate. So, not sure exactly what that time frame looks like, but if you don't get the site finished in time, you will lose the loot. So, you know, to be mindful of our time and try to get these guys taken out as quickly as possible. Now, this particular fit I do not find to be as timely at running these as the Praxis. It's definitely not as tanky if you lose speed. But it gives me the opportunity to be out here hunting dead sites, which is really what I had the Tengu for to begin with. I would probably run some scripts as far as like missile range and precision, things like that, instead of the shield boost amplifiers if I was going to run dead sites. So typically, you know, you would have those fitted up instead, but it does do a fine job with the dead sites and with these besieged research facilities with the current fit. So this is kind of what I'm running right now, and I can, as you can see, you know, once we are in the site, we got things kind of to a point where we know we're good. Like right now, we're not running shield boost or anything like that. So we could be scanning right now, hunting dead sites, while we're running these besieged covert research facilities. Now, once we get through the shields, even with the Mjolnir, things do get a lot faster as far as taking out the NPCs. Even the Legion commander here, as you'll see here in a second, once we get through this shield, we'll start taking off much more damage. Or at least I thought we did. We're still doing the same amount of damage points, so yeah, must be more on the hull there. So that's my mistake. They just don't have the same amount of armor as they do shield. So the armor still does go faster than the shield does. So yeah, we're dealing out in the Praxis, I believe, about 1,000 DPS. Here we're dealing out more around 500. So it's the same with our shield rep boost. You know, we're dealing out, I think, around 600 hit points. But in the Praxis, it's like 1,200. So now after I get rid of that first one, I go ahead and cloak, just so I can see what this next wave is going to be, because worst case scenario you end up with 5 battleships and then you're just in a very, very bad spot for the Tengu. So, you know, it is dependent upon the waves that you get. Now this one's not bad. We'll still be very capable of running this. We'll go ahead and deal with the cruiser first, and then we'll probably want to take that battleship out. But for now, let's go ahead and just deal with the cruisers, I think. Well, I don't know. Yeah, we'll go ahead and take the battleship out first, I guess. Just to get that web off of us. Now, as you can see, the battleship does go down faster than the commander does. If you're in range of the battleship, you don't have a whole lot of issue. But you can also see here, we are taking on, just looking at the numbers, we're taking on a good bit more damage than what we were without the web being on us. And honestly, the battleship is dealing a great deal of the damage as well. So it's definitely important to get that web off, get your speed back up. Now we're going to go ahead. What I like to do is, if I can, I try to cycle my boost. We're showing 15-minute cap stability, but I don't know. It doesn't seem like it would take 15 minutes to deplete it, just by how fast it does go, how far down it goes in like 3 or 4 minutes or so. Alright, so there's the battleship out of the way. Now let's go ahead and get these cruisers. Let's start with this one. Go ahead and reload so we don't get partway through him and him be shield boosting or something. Once I start applying damage, I prefer to continue to apply damage. Just to keep that regen from happening as much. Again, I keep it to a minimum. Now I'd moved out here to this particular section of low sec, and you know, I feel comfortable taking the Praxis, I don't know, 2 or 3 jumps back towards high sec in this area. But other than that, I don't feel very comfortable taking that anywhere else. I think running these in a Tengu, while limiting the ones I can run based upon the rats that spawn, I feel like it presents a lot more opportunity to me. It opens up a lot more systems for me to run these in. As I said, as well as having the capacity to scan down dead sites and things like that. So it's really a very versatile ship, versatile fit. You know, we can run these sites, we can run dead sites, we can go, I don't know, we can go into a wormhole, do some wormhole ratting. There's just a number of things that can be done with this ship. It's a very good investment if you're running any type of combat sites, really. So now we're down just to the last 2 commanders, which will take us a minute to take out. But we should have this ran in time to still get our loot. Like we weren't really that slow this time. The last time, I don't remember why, but it did take quite a while. I think it might have been the first battleship I was up against, the first time I had gotten webbed and figured that out. So this is only like my 3rd, 4th run in this ship as far as these sites. But I was very excited to see that it would run them. I had seen some chatter in Corp chat about this fit. I'd already had Tengu. There was just a couple things I needed to change. I think it was basically just adding the shield boost amplifiers to increase our shield boosting amount. And voila, I had the fit ready. But it sat in the hangar for a good while because I just didn't feel comfortable jumping out here and running these because of the amount of shield boost difference and the amount of DPS difference. I was like, well, you know, you do have speed. But today I was just like, you know, we're gonna run it. Worst case scenario, we lose the ship, but I need to know. I need to know if this ship is capable of running these sites. And yeah, it absolutely is. Maybe not all the worst case scenario sites, but your typical besieged covert research facility, it will run them. So glad to hear that, glad to find it out. Now I'm really gonna have to get out here and run a lot more of these, now that I'm capable of doing them while rolling. Another thing you can do with this while you're in low sec too is you can run belts if you're in the right security level system. Typically -2, not -2, a 0.2 systems and below, they will have some pretty good rats with some pretty remarkable loot. We may cover that in another video further down the line. Currently I have, I don't know, maybe 4 or 5 videos in the pipe, in the workings, and I'll put that in line and kind of cover that. So you can make a good living just running belts if you live in the right system and are in the right alliance and corporation. I definitely would not recommend going to other parts of space, you know, where maybe you don't have control, or where there's high traffic, and running belts or running these sites even. Well, especially these sites. So we'll go ahead and let's get rid of our UI, and we'll get some pretty little footage here for the beginning of the video of us wiping out this commander. As well as probably a thumbnail. And then we can go and see what our loot is. See what the payout was. It's kind of daunting not being able to see what his stats are right now because we don't have the UI up. I'm sure we're doing fine, but I'm not sure how close he is to exploding. Should be getting close, though. There we go. And we'll catch this groovy little explosion here. I'm sure it'll be beautiful. Oh. Very nice. Turned him to space dust. Alright. So that's the site. Let's go ahead and start working our way to the loot. Now also, with not moving nearly as slow as the Praxis, we really don't need a mobile tractor unit in this. At least not for these particular sites. If you're running other combat sites, dead sites, something like that, yeah, you may want to, you know, run your mobile tractor unit. Wouldn't hurt. It does take up quite a bit of your cargo hold, though. I believe mobile tractor units weighing in at 100 cubic meters, if I'm not mistaken. And we're sitting at 490, so it's a good portion. Now this thing is definitely not the fastest ship in the world. As a matter of fact, it's slower than the Gila is. But comparatively to running a battleship like the Praxis with no afterburner, no micro warp drive of any type, it's pretty fast compared to that. While we go get this one, we'll go ahead and start shooting on that one. Maybe we can get it popped. Another thing I like about it is not having to worry about drone aggro. That kind of becomes a pain. Ooh, 22 million, 22.8. Nothing spectacular in it, but valuable all the same. Alright, let's start heading up here. Pop it. Let's get this thing on auto approach. Let's grab this. So that was 22 million. Ooh. Those always make the most beautiful explosions. Very nice. Very nice. So basically 23 mil, 22.8. And we'll say plus 5. Let's just say about 27 mil. Right there. And you usually pick up around 6 million or so in bounty. So, you know, we came out over 30 mil. It's really good. So I hope you guys enjoyed the video. I hope this helps out. Hope you have a great time running the fit. And if you do, as always, until the next video, fly safe.